Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to talk about a farming collectible that most people discard and don't think carries a value. This is something I remember fondly as a child. Let's hop over there right now and show you an interesting item that you can find that will make you some good money. So the topic today is sacks and bags that were used to haul farming seed, grain, and all of that sort. These are highly collectible, believe it or not. Some of these can go for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I have run across dozens and dozens of these, even sometimes multiples of the same one, at an old farm or an estate sale out in the country. Dirty or not, these can be cleaned up. They are made out of cloth. If you clean them carefully, it will not fade the coloring on them. Test it, be careful, but these are repairable. They are something that you will find even dirty and dingy like that. People drug these on the ground, so if they're in good condition, it's a plus for sure. People will hang these on the wall. There's all sorts of things they will do. I have even seen dresses and other types of clothing that were literally sewn out of these back in the 1920s, 30s era. Very, very collectible, very unique. This one went for almost $250. Here's another interesting one. This is Michigan seed corn. For growing your own corn. Nice Native American image on the top. It's from Michigan with the whole state outlined on it as well. Very graphic. Some of the graphics on these are just phenomenal. $200. Now here's another one. This one looks like they cut it open. Some cases they're cut open and mounted on the wall, or they use them for like a little blanket or something, believe it or not. This is Roundup flour. Anything that you could have milled or would have been related to farming like this came in a sack. Now, most of what you'll find today are disposable bags. They're not made out of cloth like this. Obviously, it's much cheaper. Still very interesting. $149 for this one. Now, here's another really fine one, Dakota Giant Fancy Clear Flour. Usually they have the location. Many of these will have the date, so you can kind of judge how old it is when you're buying it. $145. Now, most areas had these sorts of things for farming for everywhere. So thousands and thousands, probably tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of these sorts of things were made at one time. They were mostly disposable, but I do still find them. They do still show up. Now here is Shrimp Boat brand potatoes. Potato sacks like this are still being made today. There's local farmers markets around here that still bring them in like this occasionally. $127. Again, location, the whole works is right on the bag. Now this next one's a very early 1928. It's not specific, but it's a brand specific. So you could have put beans or corn or whatever you wanted in one of these. And this one went for $125. Now here's a stamina horse supplement. Again, anything that came in a farm could have been bought in one of these big bags. Same basic principle as buying dog food in one of those big, huge 50 or 60 pound bags. This is a very nice one. This is 100 pounds of this supplement. $120 basically. Now here's an Ebert's field seed, another interesting one. Corn hybrids, clovers, alfalfa. It's just a wide range of things that they use these bags for. $105. This is the proverbial sack race. This is what they used. They were free, they were accessible. Everybody had one who had a farm back in the day. Now here's grow-coated sweet clover. Again, this is something that would have been used for feed and things like that. $90 for this one. Fairly bright. You can see the size of it. Most of them had the weight as well. And as I said, some of these will also have a date stamped in them. Now this is one of my favorites on this whole range here. Demon brand rolled oats. Very unique design. This same similar design has been used all across the food industry. $80 basically on this one. 1940s. There are books that will describe and date these also. So eBay is a great place to sell these. Now here's a very interesting one. It's dated 1943 on the left side. This is from the Atella Company, Kosciuszko, Mississippi. Very interesting piece, $77. Some of these might have been sold like this plain one to like a government contract for some of the government-run farms. Rather interesting, unique piece. I'll show you some other ones at the end here that aren't necessarily farming but will still show up at the same places. Here's another early one, probably 1920s or 30s, I'm guessing. Frost King flower. Rather nice design. The polar bear is just an awesome design on this one here. $74. Nice one. You can't go wrong with something like this. Graphics are what you're looking for, usually. Something like this is just finely detailed. It's just a piece of artwork to some extent. Now here's a Purina, the same company that makes dog chow today. This is wartime hog chow. Now, the checkerboard pattern is well sought after. This one went for $65. During the war, bacon fat. Fat in general was used for the ammunition production. So they actually supplied and helped raise hogs all over the country, the government that is. So this type of item is something well sought after. Military collectors will like this as well, too. Now here's some pine tree farm seeds. Seeds to grow your own pine trees. Dickens Farm. Rather interesting one, $65. Almost any one of these with advertising on it will sell for some money. Even bank bags like this sell also. Now here's a rather interesting one. Most people would be surprised to find a Ford branded bag of this sort. They had a tractor center, and they sold their own fertilizer and many other things as well. Ford even stamped and pressed and recorded his own 78 records of music that he liked and sold them nationally as well. Very interesting piece. 100 pounds of it as always. So $61. Car collectors will want this, Ford collectors obviously, and farming collectors. Here's another potato bag. These potato bags do go. The more graphic, the better. This is probably from the 40s or 50s. Maybe in that range, I would say $50 for this one. You will find these all over the place. You will be surprised. People still use these to carry things around. They were very well made, very durable, even still to this day. Now, another area of these same basic constructions on bags are these postal bags. Now, there's ones with locks on them. They still use lock bags to this day for registered mail and things like that. They did them for most services, so the U.S. made some of these as well. This is from France. It's just basically post office, it states France, $185. Now, these are probably something you're not going to run into very often, but one suggestion when you find stuff like this, if it's blank on the outside, look on the inside and turn it inside out. Many times people will turn them inside out, so it just looks like a regular bag. It doesn't look like they're reusing something. So many times I have found some of these turned inside out. Now here's another one, War Office of London. This is inter-office mail, probably went from one branch of the military to another one with mail during the war. Now this one would have multiple interests. It has mail collectors, military collectors, British historical collectors, just a nice piece. Now, one other item that I do find in the same places that I find the sacks and the feed bags are aprons tied to lumber and construction in general. Sometimes you'll find farming ones with belts built into them and things to hold like oil cans and things along that line. You can date this by the telephone numbers you see at the bottom, the 5 of those. It's in the 1940s. Rather nice, unique piece. Local collectors would love to have this. You can also track down where it's from based on those phone numbers. And here's just a few more just to show you some examples. They made them for all types of things. Carpentry and cabinetry places and things like that will have these too. I do find them on farming though. Paint related, farming tool related, and things like that. This group went for $36. But that's what I have for you today. Well, there you are. Hopefully that gave you some ideas and some thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
how do you do? We hope you have a moment or two to listen to what we have to say to each and every one of you.
It concerns our postal system.
Our lifetime friends, as all of you know, they've never failed us through the years, through driving rain, sleet or snow.
But now they've got a problem.
And what are they to do? The answer, my friend, is very simple. It's up to you to see them through.